As many of you know, Walmart is now carrying DC Comics. They're carrying brand new comics from DC, these 100-page giant comic things here. They're kind of a collection of one news story and some reprints. I just read the Superman one, and I figured I'd come on here and talk about it. All right. Again, it's $4.99 for 100 pages of comic books. You know, I didn't even count the pages to see if there's 100. I'm just assuming that they're telling the truth and there's 100 pages in here. All right. The first story in the book, as it shows right here, Superman, Danger in Tornado Alley. That's what we get. We get Superman in Tornado Alley. It's called Superman in Endurance, Part 1 of 2. It's by Jimmy Palmiotti. All right, now I'm not sure when this continuity is set in. Clearly Lois is here, so it's before the Man of Steel, the current Man of Steel series, because she's missing in that. But it is at a point where Lois and Clark are married. It almost feels like just pre-New 52 Superman. So anyways, the story is set that Superman's being sent to the Midwest to find out why people don't move when tornadoes hit. I mean, it's where people live. I thought it was kind of self-explanatory. But he's going to go find out what makes people stay when a tornado hits. And of course, while he's checking into the hotel, a tornado hits. Surprise, surprise. So everybody's rushed to the storm cellar. Is that what they're called? Storm cellar? We don't have them here in Florida. Sorry. Clark wants to get out and get to his car so he can become Superman and save the day. But he's kind of being forced in with everybody. There's this moment where he's kind of bonding with the folks in the cellar, and then he has this flashback, this out of nowhere flashback to when he was a baby on Krypton. I'm not sure he'd be able to remember that, but regardless, he remembers when he was a baby on Krypton. This kind of serves as just a way to introduce the reader to the story of Superman. Not that I don't think most people don't already know. We see Superman's father here. I don't think I've ever seen him look like this with long black hair and a beard. But regardless, this looks like the ship that we see in the Man of Steel book where Superman's sent to Earth, and then we catch up back during the storm has passed, and Clark comes up and finds that there's more he can do as Superman. So dun da da, he turns into Superman and goes around saving the day, helping people who are trapped, etc., etc. It just kind of goes on like that. Superman's talking to first responders, and he's rescuing women and children from trees. I'm not quite sure how they survived the tornado in a tree. Regardless, he's doing this thing, and man, I'm not going to show you the last page because it's actually to be continued into the next Wal-Mart comic, which is kind of bizarre. That I guess they're counting on people coming back every 2 weeks. I'm told it's every 2 weeks they're coming out, though it actually says in 30 days. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the release schedule for these is. I'll have to look it up. But this really just felt like a PSA. This felt like those old comics they used to do in the 80s. I think Teen Titans did a Don't Do Drugs comic, and this kind of feels like a hey, stay safe in a storm comic. It's a lot of just, I don't know, not a real challenge for Superman. He's just kind of saving people and talking to first responders about the dangers of tornadoes and being prepared. It really feels like this was written as a PSA, as a hey, be safe in a storm, or maybe it was a filler issue that they dug out and are using to pad out these books. Regardless, this is a really kind of, it's well illustrated, but it's really kind of an uneventful first story for this Superman 100-page giant, and that was the only new content in the book. Like I said, it was this very short Part 1 of 2 story by Jeff Johns. I think if you put the two parts together, it would be about the length of a regular-sized comic. And they tell you to come back in 30 days. But there's more to the book. After that, there's this Batman-Superman story, as I said, or Superman-Batman. It's not new content. It's actually taken from Superman-Batman #1 from the 2003 series. It serves as a nice introduction to the characters of Superman and Batman, giving their backstory, showing how similar they are and yet how different they are. The illustrations are nice. I like them. I like this kind of bulky Superman with the perspective and the Batman. This was, like I said, this is Jeff Johns and Ed McGuinness. Like I said, this was from Superman Batman #1 in 2003. It's a Metallo story. It's okay. It's nothing great. It's just kind of it's just Superman and Batman fighting a villain together. It's kind of what it's all about. Superman gets shot with a kryptonite bullet. I'm not spoiling much, as this story is over 15 years old. But what was surprising was President Luthor. I kind of remember this happening. I don't believe I was reading DC Comics at the time when Luthor was president of the United States. There's some kind of big asteroid coming, and he's assembled what I believe is the Justice League. So I think you have John Stewart there and Captain Atom and Red Captain. I'm not quite sure who this is. But anyways, this was from Batman Superman #1 from 2003. So it's an oldie but a goodie. And again, they say check out next month. The story is going to continue, which is interesting. Then we flip the page and it's a Green Lantern story. Surprising, a Green Lantern story in a in a Superman book. But here we have Green Lantern. This is some nice Ethan Van Sciver art here. Really digging it. It's kind of the origin of Green Lantern. Gets everybody caught up on how Green Lantern became Green Lantern. And then we jump into some less than spectacular art. It's fine. It's okay. But it's definitely not Ethan Van Sciver artwork. It's a Green Lantern story. There's not a lot happening in it. There's this kind of villain, I guess, that's on the loose. I read it. I don't remember much about what happens, and I literally read it this morning. I guess it's a nice introduction to what Green Lantern can do. I didn't read this. This was from the Green Lantern 2005 series. This was issue 1. Introduces this character who I don't know anything about. What's this character's name? I don't even see it. They call me Cowgirl, so she already has a. Oh, look, there's more first responders. This is as well to be continued. Bum bum bum, and they promise to continue it in the next issue. If you can't wait that long, like I said, this was Green Lantern #1 from 2005. I'm sure you can find it in the back issue bins. And here we are with the Terrifics. Now this is a great treat. The Terrifics #1. I really enjoyed the book. The art's great. Plastic Man spectacular in it. I'm not gonna review this story. I'm just gonna say it's great. Look at that great Plastic Man illustration. The funny thing about this is Terrifics #4 is due in stores this month, so they're kind of not that far ahead with this. They really should just say, hey, go pick up the next issue of Terrifics at your local comic shop. But I guess in 30 days, in 30 days, I thought they came out every 2 weeks, but in 30 days they say it's going to be back. So you can that's kind of what's in this book. It's first issues, beginnings of stories. I think the intent is to get people hooked on it and they come back and check out these books. But a lot of people are saying this is the end of comics retailers, that DC's sticking their nose up at comic retailers and by selling these books to Walmart. And I disagree. If you actually flip through the book here, let's see, I'll find the first one. I think that was it. There's 3 ads in the book. Let's see, the first one here is for the Batman Superman story you just read. You can get the trade paperback. They're talking about it right here. And they're not saying go online and order it or get a digital copy. They're saying get more DC graphic novels wherever comics and books are sold. So they're sending people to bookstores and comic shops. It'd be nice if they had a comic shop locator here, but they're letting people who read this for the first time know that these stories are continued elsewhere. And if you want to find out what happens next in the Batman Superman story and don't want to wait for the next 100-page giant, you can go get the trade at your local comic shop. The next one is an ad for Green Lantern Rebirth. It's probably the quintessential Green Lantern story. Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver. However, the story that was presented in this is actually in a trade paperback called Green Lantern No Fear. So if you want to find out what happens next, pick up Green Lantern No Fear. Your local comic shop should have it. And as it says here, get more DC graphic novels. They are trying to push people, hopefully, to comic shops or to get Walmart carrying more of their product. This one's a weird ad. Earth One, I'm not sure if for the non-steeped comic reader that they would want to really jump into Earth One. It's kind of an Elseworld story. It's not necessarily something that continues from this book. And then they talk about the Rebirth and the Flash, which actually isn't even the current Flash that's in comics right now. I think this page would have been better served to tell people to go check out the Terrifics now in comic shops. And that's what I have to say about the book. I don't think this is the gloom and doom that everybody's saying it is. I don't think this is a great product either. I think the 7-page story was a little lackluster. I do like the fact that they're presenting these first issues and hopefully steering folks into buying the trade to the next issue at the local comic shop. Again, for the value, for $4.99 for 100 pages of comic stories, I guess it's worth it. And just for the Terrifics #1, because I don't think the average Walmart customer even knows what the Terrifics are, and this is a great way to introduce them to it. That's about all I have to say about this. I do want to say that if you're in Florida, Gear up for PalmCon, the inaugural PalmCon cruise. That's right, we're taking PalmCon out to sea on October 12th through the 14th. You can find out more about it at palmcon.net. We're doing some updates to the website this week. The 4th might be slowing us down a bit, the holiday. However, be sure to check out palmcon.net to see what's going on with the inaugural PalmCon cruise. And if you make your way to Walmart, it's worth it. For $4.99, I would recommend picking up at least this Superman book. The Green Lantern story was a little blah, but everything else in it was pretty good. So I would recommend, maybe not that first story, but I still, for $4.99, it's worth it. And if somebody doesn't normally read comics, this would be a nice way to try to get them hooked. I think that's about it. Like I said, check out palmcon.net to learn more about PalmCon, and check out cosmictimes.net to learn more about what we do here at Cosmic Times. And until next time, stay cosmic.